million Americans this year. If moving goods and services is important to you, then you won't want to miss this information on the techniques, skills, and strategies that will increase your bottom line. Get ready for super profits to be made with entrepreneur marketing. There are 92 million millennials in the United States, meaning those born between 1980 and the year 2000. They will take over the leadership of major corporations in the next few years. These future captains of industry are convinced that entrepreneur marketing is the smart way of doing business. It's where entrepreneurship meets millions of today's consumers. So sit back, relax. It's time to learn how to take advantage of this strategy in today's economy. Now, here's Russ Johnson.
Hi, welcome to New Business on Main Street. You can be your own boss. You can own your own successful social media marketing empire. You can enjoy the financial freedom and flexibility to retire in a 3 to 5 year period of time. So don't let anyone steal your dreams. This is what's happening. Right now, the economy is going in a, tailspin, if you want to call that. When we look at the 76 million baby boomers who are retiring, 10,000 a day for the next 17 years, the average retirement is $24,000 a year. The average Social Security check is $1,100. The average savings among those individuals happen to be $3,500. They're in trouble. They have to find additional ways to bridge the gap between more month, a little bit of money, more month than money left. So we want to change that. We want to talk about something different. When we look at the estimated 10,000 women who are single parents of households with no significant help, they need help too. The veterans are coming back from the war-torn areas of the world, many of whom are unemployed, some of homeless, PTSD, committing suicide every day. We have to do something different, ladies and gentlemen. If we look at the young people who are graduating from universities and colleges across the nation, 54% of those individuals who have degrees are unemployed or underemployed, many of whom have to go back to live with the parents because they can't make ends meet. Well, that's got to change. We're talking about something different. We're talking about taking charge of your own ingenuity, your creativity, your innovation, your mind, if you will, taking charge of how do you earn a living in these good old United States of America, where we have all the opportunities in the world. What do we do? Do we look for another job? Do we go knock on doors looking for a job that doesn't exist, most of them being outsourced in other countries? Technology has taken over. What do you do to survive and to be your own person? Freddie, you're here.
Yes, sir.
Tell us, what do we do?
Well, Russell, I just want to say thank you for giving me the opportunity, and I want our listeners to know that we have calling numbers 800-889-0267, open line. Congratulations for being on WBZT 1230
I like it.
and 94.3 FM. When my friends Steve and Renee used to be, the Eating Critique Show, we welcome those that are in there. But you're absolutely right. I think that it's time to change the way you look at things. Everybody has an opportunity to grow because your self-worth. You just have to take advantage of that or be given the opportunity to take advantage of that. My son just graduated from FAU. He's working a job making less than $25,000 a year.
Wow.
And the loans that he has alone are over $150,000.
Wow.
So, and he says to me, and he's listening to them, where's the opportunities? I can't find a job that pays me in Florida, 25. Got to go up north. Got to leave the state. Got to find different ways of making things work. So what you're saying, important information, and we welcome you to the station.
Yeah, we want to create something different, a new paradigm, if you will. Right now, as you indicated, that student loans, if you will, the number is $1.1 trillion in student loans, and according to Bloomberg, only 37% of all student loans are being paid back. People can't even pay the student loans back.
And this unforgiven loan. You can't declare bankruptcy.
I know.
You can't do anything but die.
Jesus.
If you die,
that's crazy.
I think your family inherits the loan.
Well, even college education, the costs have risen over 1,000% since 1978. So where do you get the money to go to college these days?
That's right.
And then you have the student loans. Okay, we got to come up with something different. There's a new business on Main Street, and we want to talk about that. It's really called social media marketing. Now, for those people who may be behind the 8 ball, if you will, in understanding this, I would say go to www.dsa.org, Direct Selling Association of Washington, D.C., which has been tracking this since all these statistics since 1917. And they will tell you that the growing industry of social media marketing in the United States is, $33 billion, 16 million people involved. Worldwide, we are talking about 90 million people, and an industry of about $170 billion. Most people, most good folks are sleeping this. They don't know it's coming. They don't know it's here. They don't know what to do with this. So, Freddie, have people talked to you about social media marketing recently?
Russell, a lot of people have talked to me about social media marketing, and they say I'm not a salesman. I can't sell. I can't do those things in social media marketing. So the bottom line, I look at them and says, do you actually understand how this thing works? Listen, AMP2.TV, AMP Square, was created by a 14-year-old brain. My son was 14 when he put this thing together.
Is that right?
Yeah. Now, he didn't know how to sell because he's not a salesman, but he sold his father, who's gone on to put this company in 6 different states.
Wow.
6 different states,
Well, he's
Russell.
good. He's good.
And he just makes what we do better and better. But he's not a salesman. But he sold me because he gave me an idea that works.
Right.
You know, we're on amp2.tv today. You can see the show. You can chat box it. It's going to be on social media. And it's the most inexpensive way to take your business to another level. So when people come to me and say, well, Freddie, how do I sell? How do I learn to sell? I'm not asking them to sell. I'm asking them to take a philosophy, believe in that philosophy, and just talk about it.
Okay.
Which is what I did.
Believe in what you have.
That's right.
Believe in what... Bill Gates, Buffett, Steve Jobs, Zuckerberg, all of them created something new, right?
That's right.
Right. And they showed other individuals how to be involved and how to make money with this. We're going to bring on a young lady pretty soon who's going to tell us more about what Malcolm Gladwell is talking about in his book, what Paul Zane Pilzer is talking about, that word-of-mouth advertising, referral marketing, if you will, recommending and promoting is the way of the new millennium. It's the way of the world. So that's where we're going. Do you want to take a break here and come back with Halley?
Can we set up for a break? All right. So when we come back, we'll introduce our
guest.
Our guest.
Yeah, and she's going to
we'll
tell
take her take on it.
Absolutely. She understands it because she's an independent entrepreneur. She's been independent for many, many years. And so she doesn't have to go look for a job.
That's right.
So
we'll see how she started out.
We're going to bring her back in just a moment.
That's right.
Right here on 94.3.
Perfect.
Be your own boss, own your own successful business marketing empire, and enjoy the financial freedom and flexibility to retire in a 3 to 5 year period of time. Don't let anyone steal your dream of financial security and independence. Personal development is at the core of successful people engaged in entrepreneur marketing. It will help you develop a healthy dose of self-esteem and self-image. Know that what you think about, you bring about. You are a co-creator of your environment. Your mind is the master power that makes it possible. Success with entrepreneur marketing is a mindset. Steve Jobs described it this way: life can be much broader once you discover one simple fact, that everything around you that you call life was made up by people no smarter than you. The minute you understand that, you will never be the same again. This is New Business on Main Street with Russ Johnson, where you can learn the strategies needed to be a successful business entrepreneur. Want to learn more about the opportunities entrepreneur marketing can show you to help you be successful? Go to newbusinessonmainstreet.com. That's newbusinessonmainstreet.com. Once again, here is Russ Johnson.
All right, back here at 94.3, we are talking about business, and we're talking about earning a serious money, even retiring in a 3 to 5 year period of time. Trust me, there are people who are now getting involved, and 3 to 5 years from now, they will be retired. Can you believe that?
Yes.
Halley, thank you for being on the show.
My pleasure.
Let's talk about that a bit.
Halley Elise, your first guest.
I know. Thank you. Thank you for being. This is the maiden voyage, the premier show.
Maiden voyage.
I like that.
You like that?
Maiden voyage.
Go right ahead. Thank you for being here.
Okay, I'll let everybody know who I am first,
Yes,
because some
and
people are familiar with me from other stations,
Okay.
but not specifically here.
All right, but give us some of the
So I'll give
background
a
to the
little
new people.
background.
Well, please,
Absolutely.
please. Thank
Okay.
you.
So
Thank
I'm
you.
Halley Elise, and I'm known as the Empowerment Psychic. And a lot of people say, well, what does that mean, empowerment psychic? Typically, if you hear the word psychic, you think you go to somebody and they give you a portent of your future, or you make an assumption that they know about the dead and they're telling you about your lost relatives. For me, there is so much more to be learned. I have a lot of clients that come in specifically for a portent of their future when it comes to business. They come in for life skills techniques so that they can learn how to be empowered and make a significant difference in their life. And you're talking before the break about entrepreneurship and the fact that people can retire at an early age. I have to be honest, if I was independently wealthy, I would still be working. I love what I do. And I really believe one of the first things that you have to do to be successful is enjoy what you do. If you're doing something that every day you wake up and you go, oh, I hate this, it's not going to work. The other part of that is I was reading the Main Street, I'll say business magazine, I guess is the best way to phrase it, and I love this quote here. I get to run my business without a boss, no office to go to, without employees or capital costs, no overhead or inventory, no billing headaches. Now, Franco, I think it's Branco, if I'm reading that correctly. Don't have my cheaters on, sorry.
That's all right. That's all right.
But I love that philosophy. For me, I like my office, but when it comes to that entrepreneurial spirit, it's the same thing. I work by relationships. I work by referral. Do I market? Absolutely. But I use social network. I was just sharing with someone the other day that so much of my business is about making relationships, is about other people saying, hey, have you gone to one of Halley's psychic galleries, or have you had a session, or I had this happen and I was able to make changes in my life and my business is better because of. And it's not just, if you will, the financial aspect of it. It is the emotional, it is the intellectual. Because if you are in business for yourself, it is so important, again, to like what you do, but also to have excitement about it, be motivated about it. And when you have other people around you that are in the same field, or they are, if you will, high-spirited because they love to educate and they love to help, that's going to make a huge difference. Don't you agree?
Mm-hmm. How would a person motivate himself or herself?
Okay, lots of easy things that I love because I love quick and easy. Okay, one of the easiest things is when you go to sleep at night, you come up with an affirmation, I'll give one here on the air, that is helpful so that you literally start to train your brain to look for better. So an easy affirmation, for instance, is, I now am opening to learning all I need to know about creating the best business possible. Sounds a little wordy. You can shorten it. But the idea is, if you do this literally for 21 days, I usually say 30, but as far as statistics go, psychology goes, they say you need at least 21 days for something to be absorbed into the consciousness. If you start with that, you'll start noticing that automatically you begin to make little changes. You're more aware when somebody says something. In the past, you might have heard somebody say, oh, well, this is what I do for business, and in your head went, oh, I do that already. I know that. When all of a sudden you realize, well, wait, there's a nuance there that I have not been a part of, or there is a little aspect that I really need to pay more attention to. So starting with a good affirmation before you go to bed is huge. Another thing is, any chance you get to go to a format or forum, a party, a program that talks about connections, that talks about networking, do it. Do it. If nothing else, to go and introduce yourself and ask other people what they do. Because people may not remember what you do, but they remember how you make them feel. And that is, like, as far as I'm concerned, the first way to get motivated is to have other people around you going, wow, it was so good to meet you. And give me your card. And, and they make a little notation on the back that, oh, this person does this, and I remember that they're going to be helpful, or I'm going to call them about. It's a step towards business. And you don't see, and we were talking about this before we even went on there, I don't believe in selling. I really don't. I believe in sharing. And thankfully, my business is successful. I've been doing what I do, if you will, professionally. The difference between non-professional and professional. You get paid for one, the other you do for free.
The other one's a hobby.
Right. So Mysteries by Halley Elise has been in business since 1995.
Oh.
That's pretty significant, considering...
20 years?
20 years, right.
So you've been self-employed for 20 years?
Longer than that, but again, officially since 1995. Making good money.
Making a difference.
Yes, making good money as far as financially. In earnest, I have always been very psychic and very gifted and seen the world a little differently. I remember being, I don't know, maybe 12, 13, people saying, you know, you have to get realistic. You have to think about a real job in your future, and you can't be all up in the sky. And I would bring rocks home and different things and say, oh, look, they have feelings. And people around me would go, okay, the kid's a little strange. But in the next breath, they would say, God, she's so precocious, because I would come out with things that I had no knowledge of. So my start really was having a family that never said you can't do, but always said you can do anything you put your mind to. And to remember that words are things. My mom was really very impactful when it comes to that. And as a kid, I was like, it's my mom. Doesn't really mean anything. But I guess it sunk in. Because when I was a young teen, I started investigating. What programs can I go to? What's available? And back then, it was TV and radio. That's it. You didn't have the social media that we have now. But as soon as that opened up, I started checking out what's out there and who do I know.
Right. So do you use many of the social media aspects of doing business or doing referral marketing?
Absolutely. I use Facebook. I use LinkedIn. I use Twitter. I had a blog for many years on a site called bubbaloos.com, and I had 100,000, I think, viewers on that blog, just to give an idea.
100,000?
100,000.
Wow.
My other radio show on WNN, I think we have, I don't know, anywhere between 35 and 50,000 listeners on average, depending on, the day, the month, whatever, right? Yeah. Following on Facebook, on one area is about 4,000, and another area there's other numbers, but it's all about sharing.
So you get referrals?
Constantly.
And references. People refer
constantly.
You constantly.
Yes.
Right. Okay. All right.
As a matter of fact, I just shared something yesterday. A gal called me, and she was very cute. She says, I dub you something like Queen of Knowledge or something to that effect. And I started laughing, and I said, okay, what's that about? She said, well, we had a session in January, and everything you said has come to fruition, and business is great, and I'm so happy. And so I had to call and share.
Is good because
exactly. Well, I won't say because of me. I'll say because I'm willing to help, or because I'm willing to be a part of their success. So how would a person get in contact with you to say, hey, listen, I have this job I hate. Right.
I hate the commute. I hate the travel. I hate the salary they give me. I don't even want to get up on Monday morning. I want to get out of this. What would you tell them?
I would tell them, take a look at the website, HalleyElise.com, or come on out actually tomorrow night. First Monday of the month is the Psychic Gallery, and I teach people how to de-stress, how to refresh, how to get centered, how to pay attention to their own energy.
Where is that?
That is in Boca Raton. It's actually at my office, which is beautiful. Anybody who's been there goes, as soon as they walk in the door, there's fountains and greenery. So you walk into a business environment that automatically helps you relax. So the website has all the information, but they can also call me at 561-755-2166. And I'll give that to you again. It's 561-755-2166. And if they go on the website, they get a discount. At the door, it's $25 to come in tomorrow night, but if they go on the site, they can get it for $20.
Okay.
And I have I have two questions.
Sure.
The first one was, when you tell people that good things or not so good things are going to happen in their business, does it change them psychologically? Especially if it's a good thing.
Okay, great question. Truly, it depends on how much resistance that individual has, and I'll give a great example. I have a gentleman, I won't mention names because I think that's unfair, but he owns a magazine locally, and he comes to me twice a year for, we'll say, some guidance or a portent of what's to come. And I had mentioned to him about some of his investments and what was going on with the business, and he's like, and then he didn't listen to some of it, and there was a shift. So now he's going, Whereas previously, when he's come, he's been right on target. But we adjust and we change depending on what's going on in our world. If we have a mate, for instance, who's real insistent about something, we may not do exactly what we want in that moment. So somebody can come to me and I can give them the information. But the one thing that I always tell all of my clients is, this is based on this moment. You are as an individual and as individual as your thumbprint. You have to discern for yourself, does it feel right? And I truly believe in that. Listen to those gut instincts. Listen to that intuition. It's one of the first things we learn in school. How does it feel? Somebody says you're taking a test. What's that first impulse? Pay attention to that. So if what I'm saying to that individual resonates, they're going to pay attention. And I always tell them, if it doesn't resonate in this moment, before you make a decision, sit with it. See how you feel about it. Don't make a judgment, but listen innately, because that information is there to support you.
Go ahead, Fred.
And I'm sorry. And the second question I had was, you're not a salesperson. You don't sell. You share. Okay.
Yes.
But you know opportunity. So when you go to these sessions where there's other businesses, other people, and people are drawn to you or they speak to you, first of all, you're there, so you get the credit for being there.
Okay.
Second of all, when you're there and you talk about what you do and how you do it, everybody wants to be part of what you're doing.
Either that or they run screaming for the hills. Because the word psychic scares the heck out of people, like, oh no, you're going to know everything. And the truth is, I don't intrude where I don't belong.
But it's encouraging to see that they come forward, because that's the whole goal here today. You have something that works, you showed it off, you didn't even sell it, you spoke
Right.
about who you are. You didn't sell. I remember the first time I met you, you sold me. I think you have wonderful potential. You should be on television. Said this for years. I've known you a long time.
Right.
And it all happens because she just says about what she does and what she believes in. And we all can do that.
Absolutely.
Everybody.
What tools would you recommend for people who say, I'm stuck, I don't know what to do with my life?
Okay.
I can't move beyond where I am, the 9 to 5, which I hate.
Right.
How can you help me?
Well, I love when somebody says, I don't know, because it's really not true. And the reason I say that it is because if you know what you don't like, then you know what you do like. And so what I always suggest, and I'm a good one to make lists and do scripted therapy because it's so amazing and so easy to do. You take a piece of paper, you draw a vertical line down the center. On one side, you write down what you don't know, okay? The other side, you write down what you do know, or what you like and what you don't like. And so, for instance, you could say, I don't like getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning to be at work at 7:30. I don't want to work 60 hours a week. I don't want to make money and all my money is taken up and eaten in taxes. I don't. And literally list it. And then on the other side, write the opposite. Okay, so in other words, if I don't want to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, what time would I like to get up? Okay, I'd like to get up at 8 o'clock, okay?
12 noon.
How many? Noon. Anybody who knows me,
3 o'clock.
I mean, Freddie just said to me earlier, I'm a vampire because I'm up all night. It's difficult for me to get up in the morning.
Is that the Ben Franklin approach?
It is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean, all kidding aside, if you've done any study on Ben Franklin, you'll notice that a lot of his work was done late at night. The same thing is true for Einstein and many others who were philosophers, inventors. And it's not so much because they can't do it in the daytime, it's more quiet at night. And what I mean by that is electromagnetic fields are less active at night. There is less interaction and interference with other people, with traffic noise, with, everything. So a lot of times, if somebody has a lot of energy and they want to make a change, but they don't know what to do, first thing in the morning may not be their thing. Make that list. If you get stuck with that list, stop and say, okay, I'm going to come back to it. Try different times of the day to see when you have that higher energy, when you connect better with yourself. Perhaps it's 1 in the morning and it's not 8 in the morning, or perhaps it's noontime. An individual will have an individual time that works best for them, and I think this is something to be noted when you say, well, what can they do? One of the best things to do is pay attention to your own body. When is your high energy time? When do you feel more awake? If you know that you don't like something, really give thought. What would it look like if you did like something? Get clear, because that's the best way to get motivated. If you know what you want, it gets easier to find out how to get it.
You know, W. Clement Stone and Paul Getty and all of those guys say that, even Andrew Carnegie said, if you want to be successful,
Love
find
Carnegie.
out. Go ahead.
No, it's just saying love Carnegie. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, go ahead. You say. Go ahead.
It's just his philosophies were so simple. And, he became we'll say, an industry leader, very successful. But what I liked about him, if you read on him, he had people that worked for him who he gave as much credit as himself, meaning he never said it was all about me and it's my money. If somebody showed an interest, if they gave a little bit more, for instance, they said, okay, yes, I'll go do that for you, and there wasn't any hesitancy, he would go ahead, and give that person an opportunity to succeed by giving them more to do.
For the people who don't know who he was, there may be a few out there, he was a Scotsman. He came here with his mother, and he was absolutely broke, and had a 6-year, went to the 6th grade, and that was it, and became the richest man in the world. Now, any more...
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, but any more information you can give us about him and how he did that? And
Okay, well, if you're familiar with the book Think and Grow Rich, which has been around for forever and it's been rewritten so many times, it's amazing. Jack Canfield, matter of fact, just recently did the most, I'll say, current foreword on it, and they talk about Carnegie also, and how there was inspiration. But the way that he did it was, failure wasn't a consideration. It just wasn't in his programming. He set his mind to do something, and he did it. Meaning, it sounds easy to say, oh, I'm going to do it and I'll follow through. It wasn't that. He had failures, he had difficulties, but he felt it inside of him so strongly that he wanted to accomplish things that he did it. And part of what he did was about helping other people at the time in the industry, because you're dealing with, if you will, an early part of American business.
The 20th century.
Yeah.
The turn of the 20th century.
And at that point, people were still coming over from other countries, and it was about the American way. It wasn't about, I am going to indoctrinate you into my culture. It was, no, I'm in America. I'm going to learn how to be American. Americans are successful. It's the dream. And he really believed that. And it had nothing to do with his education. It had to do with mindset. As a matter of fact, I just shared something earlier today on Twitter, and I said that, like love, success is a mindset. And I believe he had that. And I believe anybody who is successful has that mindset, because how many philosophers and industry leaders do you look at who you understand that their parents told them you're never going to get ahead? They told them you're stupid. There are so many that had 6th grade educations or less. I mean, even look at Ford. Look at what Ford accomplished. Again, early part of the history. We have leaders from that time frame that if you examine their lifestyles, they didn't have an easy time
So
with it.
the magic then, for the people who want to understand all the nuances of what you have just said, they need to study Andrew Carnegie and Rockefeller and J.P. Morgan and Henry Ford. They really need to read the books and look at the lifestyles of the biographies of those people. Is that right?
I would suggest looking at them, as well as anybody who, if you will, wrote on business and success from 1912 up to 1925.
Okay. Then that would include Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill.
Exactly.
And look at that whole history. I think we're coming up on a break. Are we coming up on a break? What he says? 1 minute?
Yeah, 1 minute. Too.
1 minute. Holly, what is your phone number?
My phone number is 561-755-2166.
And your website?
The website is HalleyElise.com. That's HalleyElise.com.
So you can help me from becoming a pauper or homeless to become rich. Is that right? Is that what I understand?
I can help you get your mind in the right place so that you can make it happen.
Okay, great. All right, Freddie.
Let's take a break.
Break time. Hey, thank you very much, Holly. Don't go anywhere. We have a break time coming up.
Thank you.
and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill is an excellent book.
Yes, it is.
Right
Great
here.
resource.
94.3, right here.
Be your own boss, own your own successful business marketing empire, and enjoy the financial freedom and flexibility to retire in a 3 to 5 year period of time. Don't let anyone steal your dream of financial security and independence. Personal development is at the core of successful people engaged in entrepreneur marketing. It will help you develop a healthy dose of self-esteem and self-image. Know that what you think about, you bring about. You are a co-creator of your environment. Your mind is the master power that makes it possible. Success with entrepreneur marketing is a mindset. Steve Jobs described it this way: life can be much broader once you discover one simple fact, that everything around you that you call life was made up by people no smarter than you. The minute you understand that, you will never be the same again. This is New Business on Main Street with Russ Johnson, where you can learn the strategies needed to be a successful business entrepreneur. Want to learn more about the opportunities entrepreneur marketing can show you to help you be successful? Go to newbusinessonmainstreet.com. That's newbusinessonmainstreet.com. Once again, here is Russ Johnson.
4.3, the new business on Main Street, the new way to think, the new way to be in charge of who you are. I just love it. I'm thinking about it in a book by Russell Cromwell.
Oh, yes.
And the book was As a Man Thinketh. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And in the book, the first page, when you open that book, it says, mind is the master power that molds and makes. And you are man, and everybody's a mind. And evermore you take the tool of thought and shaping as you will, you bring forth 1,000 joys or 1,000 ills. Man thinks in secret, and it comes to pass. Environment is but your looking glass. So whatever you think about, you bring about.
Absolutely.
You know?
So if you don't think, you bring nothing about.
You get
Law of attraction. Everything that you think about, words have meaning. My mom, back to my mom. Words have meaning. Words have power. when we hear something, we internalize it. Or even when we think, you ever run into somebody and they do something wrong, and they're like, "Ah, I'm so stupid." And they tell themselves that over and over. I can't do anything right. Do you think that doesn't affect you? The psychology of your thought system is amazing.
Whatever you think about, you bring
about. Absolutely.
I love it.
Absolutely.
Love that. And there's another phrase that says, what is that phrase?
If you can, wait a minute, I know which one, about achieving it. If you can think it, you can achieve it. If you believe it, you can achieve it.
I love it. I love that one. Freddie?
Well, it's all great. So the point here is, if you believe, you can get anything done. You can accomplish anything.
Absolutely.
Even if you've been down on the luck and you feel that the whole world is against you, you just got to brush it off and start again.
Right.
What about, Russell, why don't you touch a little bit, opportunities, seeing opportunities, reading those signs, and jumping into those niches that do exist. Because no matter how bad it gets, if you read the signs, there are opportunities out there.
All right, well, if we just look at the Direct Selling Association of Washington, D.C., which has been monitoring social media marketing, or whatever you want to call it, for the last, since 1917.
Direct marketing, social media.
Of course, yeah, direct sales. Oh, yeah. In this country, the social media marketers generate more than $33 billion annually to 16 million plus people. And worldwide, that the direct selling marketing industry is $170 billion with 90 million people throughout many countries throughout the world. Japan, Malaysia,
How much was
Hong Kong.
33 billion?
In the United States.
33 billion.
In the United States alone. Worldwide is 170 billion through all the countries, Japan, Malaysia, Hong Kong, Singapore. I mean, people all around the world are doing social media marketing.
Absolutely.
If you look at what Malcolm Gladwell, in his book, The Tipping Point, he says that social media marketers will be making millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars in the next 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years. So we have to shift our concentration.
Consciousness and concentration, absolutely.
From a job, somebody's taking
just
care
over broke.
Okay, to becoming an entrepreneur, if you will.
I think even if you work for someone else because you feel that taking on the responsibility of being your own boss is too much, or you don't have the confidence, that you can always do something on the side that you love till you get comfortable, so that you can develop something more. Or you can turn it around and be the absolute best at what you do and make money that way.
So you can stay on your job and on the side be working at something that you like.
Absolutely.
That excites you, that gets you enthused.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Because we're talking about consciousness, and thoughts and words. If you are not at a place where you believe that you can do something or you can make a difference, or if fear is overcoming you, which, there's a great acronym for that, false evidence appearing real. But if fear is taking over your life, then how do you make a change? You have to do something gently, something slowly, so that you can acclimate, kind of like getting into a pool for the first time. You put your big toe in.
That's good.
So the other piece then, I hear, is that to avoid being inundated by fear, if you will, and stopped,
right,
then you should, on a small basis, do a little bit each day in terms of reading a good book, listening to a good tape, or focusing on some good materials that you say.
Yes, I would honestly suggest inundating yourself with constructive material that would lead you to something more. We talked earlier about people in the earlier part of history and, the 1920s, etc. But, there are people today who have programs that are amazing. You have Tony Robbins, who's an amazing motivational leader. You have Jack Canfield, who also is incredulous. You have Dr. John D. All of these people are incredible. You have companies, too, that do a lot of complimentary events just so that you can get your feet wet.
Okay. So we can talk about people like Donald Trump.
Absolutely.
Mark Victor Hansen, that you mentioned earlier.
Right.
Okay. Les Brown or Bill Clinton.
Les Brown, also amazing.
Okay, all right. So you can Google these names and listen to them on YouTube.
You can listen to them on YouTube.
Or go to the library and get the materials.
Right. And
doesn't cost you anything.
And most of these guys today, because of the internet, because of, being able to extend themselves as far as socially, they have information on Facebook that's free. They have on their websites where you can literally go go and download information or on a weekly basis receive information. And, there are sites such as Peak Potentials, which is New Peaks now because T. Harv Eker, he's another gentleman who's incredible I've studied with. You have CEO Space. A lot of these organizations will send you information that helps you before you've even immersed yourself in their programs. I know you have a call.
No, that's all right. No, finish it. Yeah.
Okay, the gist is, if somebody actually wants information, it's out there. If they sit and they say, I don't know, I can't, then they're stopping themselves. And I liken it to, if you're a parent and you have a child and your child needs some sort of surgery and you don't have the money, you will find a way to make it happen. You will do whatever it takes to make it happen. So if something is passionate enough for you, you will find the way to make it happen.
So you have to take charge of you have to be responsibility for you.
You have to be accountable for yourself.
And for your thinking.
Absolutely.
And for your development.
And the opportunity is there. And it's funny because you look at Donald Trump, you look at all these people that are somebodies, allegedly somebodies, they all started out with the same ideology. How do I get bigger?
Well, they've also all failed.
That's right.
I mean, really think about this. Anybody who's really big, they failed.
All right.
And then they came back.
They came back.
Because the failure didn't stop them.
Right.
There's a book out that says every no. Yes, there you go. Go for the no, because every no brings you closer to yes. See, we're in sync.
Same library.
See that? We didn't even practice. But that's it.
We do have a call. Listen, I think the young lady on the call, let me punch this up. Let's see. How do you punch this up?
Hit the light.
Hit the light. Lights in the night? No, I've hit the light.
Is she on?
Go towards the light. There you
Who's
go.
on?
Jane, are you there?
I'm right here. It sounds like you guys are having a great time.
We are.
But we need you. Jane Manette has been around the industry for many, many years. She's a trainer. She's a life coach. She's studied NLP training, and she'll talk about that. She psychotherapist, the whole 9 yards, and she's out there. She's
awesome.
I don't think she's had a job in 40 years. What's the last job you had, Jane?
I had, don't make me tell everything.
Okay.
I had one big-time job in my life. The National Institute of Mental Health did a research demonstration project on the studying women, and I was the executive director. And every single board member felt that they were my boss, and I swore an oath at this delicate young age I would never, ever, ever work for anybody again in life, and I've kept my promise to myself.
You know, one of the answers to be involved in social media marketing, according to the Direct Selling Association, it says women comprise 85.2% of all people who are in direct referral
That's
marketing.
because there's so many of us.
Well, true. And they say 54% are between the ages of 35 and 54. Another 23% are between 18 and 34, and 14% are between 55 and 64. I think Jane is 35. Jane, tell us about how to do this business. You haven't had a job in, well, let's say 20, 30 years, whatever. Tell us about what you've done and how you have gotten to where you are.
Well, like I said, I was working. I had my big time job in 1974, and I decided I would never ever again work for anyone. So I went into private practice with a psychiatrist. I'm trained in clinical psychology, so I was a psychotherapist, and had a very vibrant practice. In fact, I was probably the most popular therapist there. They called me the radical therapist because I would take my therapy appointments with people everywhere, to the park, on lunch. I didn't just sit in the office. I really got to know them. And then I noticed that they were sending me all the depressives, So they said, well, you're the best with them. So anyway, the clinic, the practice was going great, but the owner had some issues, and he didn't pay his taxes, and the IRS closed the clinic. Wow. So there I was with all these people who were, I'd been relating to, but I had started weaning them out. I'd started, teaching them how to go within, how to meditate, how to identify their resources. I said, listen, what normal, everyday people do is they just talk to their best friends about the things you pay to talk to me. So let's learn how to cultivate healthy relationships. So I taught them how to meditate, how to identify resourceful people in their lives, and my goal was short-term therapy. So they criticized me at the clinic because Blue Cross would have billed for so much longer, but I was not keeping people for the entire amount of time that I could keep them. So I saw a lot more people. And it was a very interesting experience for my own personal development as well. So when the clinic closed, was I started training and doing personal development, self-esteem, and leadership development. And from that got introduced to an industry that was totally based and run and fueled by personal development. So I got to kind of hooked and became a personal development nut and expert at the same time. And it was fascinating. And I got introduced to an industry that encouraged people, that tells you if you do not invest in yourself, if you do not work on yourself, you will never have the things that you want, the life that you want, the lifestyle you want. Well, what I really wanted, because I was raising a small child, is I wanted time, freedom, and financial independence. I didn't want to have to be concerned about money, and I wanted time to be able to do what I wanted to do in life. And I found a marriage between me and what I call relationship marketing. Because what I learned that everyone has people around them, and we don't necessarily know how to organize or leverage those relationships for our best interest or for their best interest. And I got involved with networking. I got involved with and I had a lot of success, and people in my organization had a lot of success. And what I really learned is that there are people in this world who, we all kind of want to go the same place. We all want to be loved, we want to be happy, we want to be independent, we want time freedom. We just have a lot of different ideas about how to get that. And some people just keep going and keep going for their goals, and some people just camp out. They just say, listen, let me just take this job, do what I have to do, make the sacrifices, or whatever. And jobs are phenomenal experiences at teaching us what we like, what we're good at, and what we need to learn, and what we don't like. So for the person that's listening, that really has something inside of them that says, I deserve more, I want more, I need more, I've earned more, then I want you to listen very carefully. Every single organism that's on this planet has the ability and the intelligence within itself to nourish, to feed itself, to protect itself, and to reproduce itself. So we all have something inside of us. Every living organism has what it takes to nourish itself. So what I want to say to you, first of all, is you have everything that you need. You have all the ingredients. What you don't have is the recipe. That's all. But you have every single thing that it takes for you to have a phenomenal life, for you to have the life of your dreams, whether that's a quiet life by the river in the country, rocking on the porch, whether you want to travel all over the world as I've done, meeting people, whatever it is that you want to do, you were born with the software, the innate ability to make that happen.
Like Bob Proctor says, you were born rich. That's a good book. Get that book.
Exactly.
We are taking a quick second. I want you to come back and tell us how you first left your job and got into social media marketing and the success you have had. 1 second. We'll be right back. 94.3 right here on the radio station.
Be your own boss, own your own successful business marketing empire, and enjoy the financial freedom and flexibility to retire in a 3 to 5 year period of time. Don't let anyone steal your dream of financial security and independence. Personal development is at the core of successful people engaged in entrepreneur marketing. It will help you develop a healthy dose of self-esteem and self-image. Know that what you think about, you bring about. You are a co-creator of your environment. Your mind is the master power that makes it possible. Success with entrepreneur marketing is a mindset. Steve Jobs described it this way: life can be much broader once you discover one simple fact, that everything around you that you call life was made up by people no smarter than you. The minute you understand that, you will never be the same again. This is New Business on Main Street with Russ Johnson, where you can learn the strategies needed to be a successful business entrepreneur. Want to learn more about the opportunities entrepreneur marketing can show you to help you be successful? Go to newbusinessonmainstreet.com. That's newbusinessonmainstreet.com. Once again, here is Russ Johnson.
Have you brought it up?
Okay, back here at 94.3. Thank you for tuning in. We want to help you to become the best you can be. Jane, tell us, when you first were approached about this whole industry called social media marketing or referral marketing, you call it, what do you call it, Jane? Jane, are you there? Jane?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
It's like, hello.
Did you leave us?
I'm here.
Okay.
Hear me?
Yeah, right. I hear you loud and clear. When you talk about relationship marketing, how were your first approach? What happened? Give us that story.
It was very interesting. There are two parts to the story. I'll try to tell it quickly. I was working as an outpatient psychotherapist, and most of my clients were depressed, just having life adjustment issues. So I had some friends come to town who were entertainers, and I said, and their energy was phenomenal, off the charts. I said, what do you guys do to feel like this? They said, we take supplements. I said, wow, you take supplements? And they gave me the name of the company. It was a network marketing company. So I found the company, and I drove to the part of town where they only allowed Caucasians to be at night. Now, this is in the 70s. I want you to know this is in mid-70s. So I drove to Dearborn, Michigan, okay? That everybody in this area had taken a block that they would never sell to Jews, they would never sell to Hispanics, and they would never sell to blacks. That was a contract you had to take when you moved in this area. So there I'm having to go there to buy these supplements, and I'm buying these supplements and putting them on, giving all my clients the supplements, and they're getting better now. They're bringing their aunties and all kinds of stuff, and and there was just all this traffic and all this supplements. So I went there once, and they gave me a check for $500. I said, no, it would be against my principles to take any profit. I already get paid very well by Blue Cross. I'm not going to charge them. They said, no, this is something called a bonus, a rebate. I said, no, it's not. It wouldn't be applicable. They said, well, let me just apply it to your next order. And then I went, they gave me a check for $15. They applied to my next order. And then once they gave me keys to a car, they said I'd moved so much product that I'd earned a car. And I said, okay, let me go to a presentation. And I went to a presentation. There was a man on the stage skipping around and dancing with his kids. Hoker, and he was a big guy in this company, and he was making $38,000. Now, where I came from, only drug dealers made that kind of money. I said, well, how could he be? He was singing and dancing, and talking about how great life was, and as an entrepreneur. So I took notes. I just took notes. That's all, and I went back. The clinic soon closed. I was marketing myself as a trainer and a motivator. Got contracts here and there. So my friend said, there's this guy in town looking for trainers. So I put on my Armani suit, went to the presentation in Chicago, and the guy was talking about how fabulous he was and how great he was. I said, well, tell me about your success. What have you done that can convince me that you can help me be successful? He said, I have this guy from the south side of Chicago with a bad back and an 8th grade education making $25,000 a month. And he was offering me a job for $200 a day as a trainer. He would design the training, hook it up with the corporations, and I would go and be the mouthpiece. No problem. I said, no, keep your job for $200 a day. Just give me the name of the person making $25,000. He said, no, that's not for you. That's for people with no education. And no, you're an educated woman. You're a professional. That's not for you. I said, listen, I'm not too smart to earn $25,000 a month. Give me the man's name or I'll get it from somebody else. So he was very disappointed because he had seen me as his trainer of trainers. So anyway, I met the man, and I did exactly what he said, and I did exactly what Bob Hoker said, the guy dancing and singing with the 7 children on stage, and I had phenomenal results. Every time I've done it, I've had phenomenal results. So what I learned very early is that you can let other people define your life, tell you when to get up, when to go to the bathroom, how to dress, when you can go on vacation, when you can have lunch, what time you get home with dinner, or you can define those things for yourself. And it's a lot easier to earn $10,000 a month than it is to go work a job. It's a lot easier to earn $20,000 a month once you have the recipe. Remember, you have the ingredients.
Perfect.
You just don't have the recipe. And I really applaud you, Russ, for having a program like this, because people are looking for an alternative. The 40 hours, 40 years, watch and Kool-Aid party story is over. Everybody knows that is out.
That's great.
I talk to young people, and they're not even interested in that. They're saying that wasn't even healthy. Their parents neglected them or neglected their health or their household or their families in pursuit of this fantasy life. They want to do what they love, be with people they enjoy, and have fun in the process.
Jane, if someone wants to have more contact with you or information, you have a website, you have a phone number, what can you do?
Just let them call me at 954.
She's local.
Let me repeat it, 954-260-4017. I'm a life coach. I love working with high achievers and entrepreneurs. I just recently formed a foundation called Empowered Woman Foundation, and I'm looking for donors and board of directors because I want to teach women these principles, and I'm focusing on widow women, retired women, single mothers, and veteran women, and administrative and management women who think that they're smart enough to run major corporations and work for men, but they're not smart enough to work for themselves. So I'm looking at women at various stages of life and wanting to teach them the same principles that we're talking about today. Because let me tell you, when you help a woman, you've helped a family, you've helped a community, you've helped a city. So I really have a lot of passion for teaching these principles to women of all ages.
Well, it's estimated that there are 10 million women who are head of households without the benefit of a supporting significant other. So we need to do something about that. Come on. The government is unable to help the veterans or those women or the 76 million baby boomers who are retiring at the rate of 10,000 a day for the next 17 years with an average retirement check of $24,000 a year. We are in difficulty. We have to do something about it. Ms. Elise?
Yes.
Do you have a question of Jane Manette? Because both of you guys sound like you're reading from the same book.
I said on the break, Jane, that we are kindred spirits in many ways between the NLP and the meditation, etc. I have to share something because it reminded me of something. When I taught over at Nova University, I used to teach meditation, and the administrator would come in on the first night and say, "Oh, you're all here to be medicated. I mean meditate," because he would see such a difference in them after each class. But I would do things that were unorthodox. I would take the class, the entire class of 40 people outside, and make them hug trees or walk them around the campus and have them be observant and actually talk to each other. So when you talk about having fun and you talk about, believing in yourself, so much of that comes from being able to get peaceful. And what I wanted to ask you was, with all this background, with all of this knowledge, with the idea of creating a new company, what do you feel would be the best way for a woman to help herself prior to actually making a commitment to joining any organization?
Really having a meeting in the mirror with themselves, really getting quiet and going within, and really asking the hard questions of yourself. What is it that I really want? Why don't I have it? What's preventing me from having what I really want? What kind of lifestyle do I really want? There's a process that I take people through, and I say, what do you want? And they tell me, okay, so when you get that, then what will that get you? Okay, then what will that get you? And get them to their core purpose and core purpose in life. So once a person has really connected with their core purpose, then the whole world opens up in terms of all the different ways they can make it happen. So what I would recommend is that a woman ask herself, or any person ask themselves, what is it that I really want? And when I get that, what will that get me? Okay. Because it's what that will get you that's your purpose.
Right.
And then that question, what do I really want, and what's preventing me from having it? And then call me for a coaching session.
I was waiting for that.
That's where I'm going.
Yeah, give your phone number again.
What is that phone number again?
954-260-4017.
Jane, thank you very, very, very much for being on the program. 954-260-4017. You've done a magnificent job with your life. You're going to help a lot of other people, especially with your foundation, a 501c3. And I just want to thank you for being who you are and for what you have contributed to the folks here on this planet. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And guess what my perception is? My perception is my best years are ahead of me.
There you go.
What I'm about to do will the things in the past will pale in comparison to how the universe is expressing through me now. So thank you so much, and thanks for who you are in the world. And my girlfriend there, make sure she gets my number so we can talk.
Okay.
Yes, I already had that in mind.
I was just saying.
We're set.
I was just saying to her. Her number is 561-755-2166. Again, 561-755-2166. And I was just saying to her that you need to get with Jane and start your own television show across the whole United States, which will be bigger than Oprah. How?
Wow,
that sounds
wonderful. Fabulous.
Well, you would be doing a lot more good.
Enjoy the rest of the show. Thank you so much for having me.
Hey, thank you
Thanks,
for being
Jane.
on the call. Hey, we're wrapping up the wrap-up time. I think we've got about 2 minutes. Freddie, listen, you created all of this. Come on, give us a minute to outgo.
I don't have a minute. I'm amazed
You don't have a minute?
at listening to you and to Halley and when Jane came on the air. This is all leading up to doing bigger and better things. You know, listen, I've been there. I've been there. I know what being down is all about. But the one thing I want to touch on is you can't give in to fear.
Okay.
No fear. I've been teaching that to kids that were 9 to 12 years old. I made shirts. I coached. No fear. You can't give in to fear. If you do, you're doomed. So don't give in to that. Call Halley, call Jane, call Russell. There's opportunities out there. Now, Russell, these are going to be only 7 shows we're going to do till January.
Right.
So they're going to be pick and pick. So
Wait, what happens after?
Well, we
we'll
have
see.
to decide. We have to decide.
Maybe television.
You know,
Let's see.
if people want us to continue, we will continue. But, you know, we have to. This is a trial balloon, if you will.
That's right.
Yeah.
And next week, we'll be back next week. We'll be back next week.
Yes.
And we're going to offer some options and some job options and everything
absolutely.
else. We'll push the envelope.
Absolutely.
But I want to thank you for giving me a chance to come on the air with you guys.
Absolutely.
This is great.
We have 2 minutes. We have a minute.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll dive right in here. I'm going to remind everybody, join me for the Psychic Gallery tomorrow night if you can't, because it's the holiday, and I keep telling everybody, when the kids are in bed, when you're done barbecuing, it's perfect. Come on out at 7:30. You can get the info on the site. It's HalleyElise.com, or even on Facebook. I'm all over the place. In all truth, no matter what you do, really try to honor yourself. When it comes to women specifically, we say good night at 10 o'clock, but we're not in bed till midnight because we keep going. When it comes to gentlemen, we tend to say, oh, I've got to handle it all on my own, and we go inside and we shut down. You can shift all of that. You have to make a decision for yourself to honor yourself, to nurture yourself. I don't care if you're male or female. It's really important that you remember to take time for you and to say what you need versus assuming that your partner knows what it is.
Okay, success with social media is a mindset. Steve Jobs said it this way. He said, life can be much broader once you discover the one simple fact that everything around you that you call life was made up by people no smarter than you. The minute you understand that, you can poke it, you can change it, you can mold it, you can embrace it, you can make your mark upon it. Once you understand that, you will never, never, ever be the same again. Thanks for listening to New Business on Wall Street.
Listening to New Business on Main Street, a comprehensive show explaining how to turn yourself into a motivated earning machine. You have to change yourself into one, accepting the fact that if you want to get ahead in today's society, change must come from within you. Let Russ Johnson show you how some simple business techniques and seeing opportunities in today's marketplace can help you become a better entrepreneur and reach all the goals you ever dreamed of. Join us next time for another edition of New Business on Main Street with Russ Johnson.